Good morning. We are getting closer to ending this year, but it is not without a lot of news and drama going on. Whatever was hot yesterday is not hot today. Looking at wheat lower, corn lower, beans lower, cattle still firmer. But there's reasons why this is happening. We had a big move yesterday in crude oil. We're still continuing to have a big move in interest rates. We have some great news for anyone borrowing money. That's most of us. For you all out there who are rich, congratulations. You're just not making as much as you were a few months ago on CDs, bonds, and whatnot. Now, with that, we got Connor B. He's got an action-packed show. We're going to teach you about the Indian Navy and some other stuff. We're going to cross over to the interest rates. And then we got a little tidbit about drones that Connor B. Popped up. Yes,
Yes,
sir. Good
sir.
morning.
Good morning, Tommy. Let's jump right into it. First thing you want to talk, 30-year tumbles below 4%. I'm going to pull up that nice chart you had too. And just looking at what we've been in the past 3 months on that 30-year note. Walk us through this,
Sure.
Tommy.
It's really simple. We are exactly where we started the year. So all the drama, all the trading, all the tens of millions, hundreds of millions of futures and options and everything else traded in interest rates, if you did nothing the whole year, you're right back to where you were. This is great, great news for anyone wanting to buy a home, for anyone wanting to refinance. This is great news for farmers as they go into renew their operating. Now, there is one little thing I have to teach everyone. The short end's still up there. And if you don't understand this, you can call us, you can email us, you can text us this. The Fed hasn't actually lowered rates. They're going to allegedly lower rates. So, Connor B., yeah, your office is at a bank. Of course, that bank hasn't been open since 1928. I apologize. But um, as you drive through the country, when I drove through Valparaiso yesterday, it said 6-month CD, 5%. Banks still need cash. So there's an incredible amount of cash that's in the system, but it got pulled out of checkings and savings and everything else. So banks are actually begging for cash. Maybe it sounds a little weird, but they'll still give you 5% when the 10 years 3.85. So pretty much, I guess what I'm saying, anyone who owns an asset can go borrow a ton of money at 6, 7%, immediately throw it in an asset at 5%, and then you could have liquid cash. It still costs you too, but it's just something to think about. Now, with that, the stock market's up 25%, Connor B. And uh,
Touching on highs on the S&P, right?
yeah,
Hopefully we get
yeah.
there today.
And Brady and I talked about yesterday, half of this move in the stock market came in the last 2 months, and it's just incredible.
Right.
And so there's pictures out there of all this cash sitting out there. And when you say, hey, it looks like the world's a bad place, how is the stock market still going up? People are just greedy, brother. They're greedy. I'll tell you what they're not buying, though. They're not buying commodities, and we could talk about that a little bit
Right.
more
I heard
down the road.
a good headline. Someone called 2023 the year of the almost recession, right? We were talking recession, and it never quite came to fruition. So good
Yeah.
to see.
Yeah, I think it'll go down as a year that wasn't so kind to commodities. I mean, there was a few
Absolutely.
outliers. Remember, real quick, we were worried about what we're going to talk about. I got plenty to talk about. I'm just waiting for my turn to talk.
I'm never worried, Tommy.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for my turn to talk, Connor. Listen, sugar chart collapsed. Orange juice collapsed. I haven't looked at coffee lately, but a few months ago, those were all the rage: sugar and coffee and
Right.
the hot chocolate trade. Remember, we called it the cocoa and the sugar. Sugar's collapsed. Orange juice collapsed. I mean, these commodity markets are, let's just say this, they're not Apple stock. They're not always as liquid as you think. So, with that, what's our next headline, my friend?
Yeah, main thing I think we have, Tommy, is let's talk the Red Sea Houthi rebels and let's talk the Indian Navy. You sent this to me this morning, and my first question was, India has a navy? Okay.
Same thing happened yesterday. It was on our FDTV, and he said the Indian Navy sent 5 ships, and I started laughing. Now, I'm not laughing that navies are sending 5 ships. I'm laughing that I didn't know India had a navy, and I imagine we all different countries have different wars. We should Google. Oh, producer Joe's good. He's going to Google what is the Indian Navy's yearly budget, and I bet you he has that up in a few years. So let me look down. Let me see Joe looking. He's going. All right, Indian Navy. Now, what's going on? Why, Connor, do analysts constantly look silly, whether they are a fundamental guy, a chart guy, when there's these things called drones, right? When
Hmm.
they a little drone that they're not very big, they can fly all over and they're attacking ships all over the world. And so in the old days, It would be the pirates. Remember the Somalian pirates?
Yeah.
You don't need to load up a boat with people and go take over a ship. You just hit it with the drone. So you have these multi-billion-dollar ships out there, and they're being hit by ship or being hit by drones. And that's a real problem. So that affected oil yesterday. That got wheat going. That wheat rally, I'm not so sure that I'm going to go buy a bunch of commodities because there's drones bombing ships. But I will tell you this: I did some googling last night, and I had a great interactive map of how things ship and how they flow and whatnot. And the map was color coordinated, and shame on me for not putting it up. But yellow line was the most traveled through places, and those were Panama Canal in this area right here, up and down that Red Sea
Right. The
corridor.
Suez Canal. Just
Suez Canal,
to
yeah.
take a step back to think about it, it's think Europe to China trade, right? It's not necessarily directly affecting uh US markets, US commodities, right? But it's like 10, it's over 10% of trade goes through that canal. And so
Yeah.
right now, right, we're talking Indian Navy, the US is stepping in to help open that back up, and they are trying to open back up. But the thing is, are we going to see escalation? Is this a catalyst that's going to pull in other countries and get more of the Middle East sucked into this Palestine-Israeli conflict, right,
I
Tommy?
have a pretty map that we used yesterday, and it's still good today. So what Connor B's talking about is if you're going from Asia all the way through to Europe, that I believe is about a 26-day trip. And then if you have to take this green line, it's a 36-day trip. And all of a sudden, we've all become experts on Suez Canal and Red Sea. But the truth is, it's affecting what we do here in America. So when I'm on TV or radio or anything else, and I hear an analyst say, "Well, I just didn't know what's going on, and I didn't know, these drones fundamentals are good." Listen, folks, it's a new day. We're coming in 2024. The world's a hot mess. We got an election coming up. Black swans continue to happen. Speaking of black swans, some character came out yesterday and said the stock market's going to be down 86% in 2024. Let's just
Cool.
hope he's wrong. All right. Let's hope
Right,
that guy's wrong.
right. Absolutely. Other thing, talking about trade, talking about container movement. We got this one. Don't feel the need to read it, folks. It is in Chinese, but just get the vibe of this is what we're looking at. Correct me if I'm wrong, Tommy, but we're just looking at the Chinese, what is it, the container futures index, just looking at what's moving there and how much that's rallied since what? Basically the last 2 months.
Yeah, just an incredible that was limit up yesterday. So I'm looking at the Twitter sphere last night, X, and it says this index is up 20% limit up. You want a market that's going up? It's this one. I would not advise trading it because I can't read half those letters or numbers or anything on there. But the picture's worth 1,000 words. That we think of the Dow Jones, the Nasdaq, and all these markets. There's markets all over the world, Connor B, that trade, and there are places to take risk and lay off risk. Someone is extremely worried about shipping around the world. So let's take our shipping bingo card out here, Connor B. We have the Mississippi River, we have the Panama Canal, we have how the heck is the whole other side of the world going to move stuff? Russia's fighting with Ukraine. Gaza and Israel are a hot mess, and there's drones blowing up ships. You think any analyst with fundamentals or charts or anything else is going to get this right? No,
No,
sir. Stick to the
no.
basics. You grow grain, you need to sell grain. I'll work on that. We have a nice comment coming in from overseas here or somewhere. Our first LinkedIn comment. Well, hello, LinkedIn.
Heyo.
Well, hi. Good day for all, sir. All right, there we
Good
go.
day to you.
Yeah.
So,
Real quick. Go ahead.
no, go ahead, Tommy.
Well, I'm amazed at how much is going on. And I'm amazed at how much analysts make excuses for themselves for that they didn't know. How the heck could you
Right.
know? I mean,
You
if you and I, how could you know?
you can't you have to factor in 2024 is going to be that, right, the irrationality of the market, the things, the black swans, like you said, the things we can't plan for, or the things that are going to catch us off guard. And
Yeah, you
so
got this chart here. Let's talk about this.
yeah, I'll gloss over because we're running low on time, but just looking down south, right? We got reports of them harvesting soybeans right now, Tommy. That weather, it's a little bit GFS models calling for more normal weather conditions, right? We're not looking as much more drought. And when we start talking harvest, right? Yields, the early yields aren't looking good, but I don't know if that matters for the US because here's where I want to look at. Purple line is our export inspections, right? And as you can
Hmm.
see, as we go into the new year, seasonally we're going to fall off, right? When Brazil soybeans, when South America comes online, that's where our export it shifts down that way. And so if we're talking earlier yields, earlier harvests, right? We're kind of seeing that now where those export inspections and export sales will start tailing off. So something very closely to monitor, right? We hammer South America weather, exports all the time, but something to watch, right? If we start seeing this, we've actually got work to do on the export front, and an early harvest isn't necessarily good for us.
Joe did pull up that information about the Indian Navy, and that's a big number. So obviously, India has a ton of people, and they do need to defend their country. So it's a great time to be in the defense business, right? Maybe that's what we should all do. Hey, you know what I want to say, Connor, before we get into how people get a hold of us?
Yeah.
See if I have this up here. Here's how they get a hold of us. Watch us on YouTube, Apple, Spotify. My cadence is off today, but that's okay. We'll get her. That's the beauty of doing live. I will say this. Yes, sir.
No, in between the holidays, it's okay if your cadence is off. I took yesterday off. I was putting toys together all day.
Well, Brady Huck's ready and standby if he needs any of us. All I can say is this, and I'll end the show with this. Buckle up, Buttercup, because 2024 is going to be a wild ride. All right? Gina G is going to take us out of here, buddy.
See you tomorrow.
Thanks for joining us. We're here every day, 9 a.m. Central. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.